let's look to the future of this. If you think about integrating mobile and cloud and the future of enterprise mobility, I mean, what is this going to look like in a few years? And I guess from the standpoint of what should businesses be most focused on investing in if they look to the future?
Yeah, so it's interesting. Right now, we talked about these islands. Mobile is definitely an island.
Hmm.
And when I think of the future of enterprise mobility, I think of it as something that is just embedded in everything. It's not even talked about.
Right.
Nobody asks you if you have wireless in your PC anymore, right? It
Right.
wouldn't happen. Of course you have wireless in your PC.
Right.
I think we get to a world where it's like, of course my services are mobile, and they're everywhere. And it's just a matter of, are they on a big screen or a small screen? And how do I interact with them? And it becomes much more about the seamlessness of the security and the seamlessness of the interaction. So when I'm on, something like an Apple Watch, I'm not
Oh,
going to sit there with a stylus and go,
right. No, probably
right?
not. Yeah.
Different interaction model. But let's say we were having this chat. There might be something I do on here where, I just send you a message that says, hey, I can't talk right now. I'll get you when I hit the machine, or I'll
Right.
just say send to the machine and it goes to the machine. And then maybe I go somewhere else and it goes to the phone. So we talked about services portability before. I
Hmm.
think we're actually going to see that happen, and people will start to think of it's a process or it's an app, and it's workflow, however you want to call it, and it's just how it moves across the different devices. And that's the future of enterprise mobile, just knowing that you can have access to whatever that content is anywhere, but with the right format. It's a little bit of data on here, it's more data on the phone, it's more functions when I go to the big screen. There's probably even a scenario where I've got a glass wall, like what Corning talks about, and I could touch that, right? So but it's the concept that will be able to show up and move with you everywhere and have some concept of what you did before.
Right. I'll be wearing my Google glasses and I can get my email, my Google glasses, and then I can transfer that to my smartphone easily or to my wristwatch easily, among other places.
Yeah, so you can see it, maybe in that scenario, you might like blink to ignore, right? So
Blink
I don't like
repeatedly.
you. Go away, go away.
That's the triple blink. Never a good sign, the triple
Yeah,
blink.
triple blink is delete or something like that, right?
But what are we talking in terms of timeline? When you sort of imagine this theoretical scenario you're talking about where it really does pass between platforms, is that 2 years away? Is that 5 years away?
I would argue it's already started.
Yeah.
And the reason I'd argue it's already started is, if you're within an ecosystem, I think there's still an ecosystem challenge. But, I happen to live in an Apple ecosystem. Some people live in an Android ecosystem. Some people live in a Windows ecosystem, right? If you're
Right.
in a Windows ecosystem, they've got this concept of continuum, right? And it moves from device to device to device. And that's even part of their operating system architecture. If you're in Mac, it's continuity. And it's, you can have your SMS go to your PC, or to your Mac in this case, or to your phone.
Hmm.
So we're starting to see some of that already. And we're starting to see some context around what gets surfaced where. Gee, I notice that when you're on this device, you're frequently pulling up maps at this time of day. I'm just going to have that as one of the frequent apps, right?
Right.
So we're starting to see that portability across devices. If you have the watch from anybody, it pretty much can, help you figure out like what's going on your phone or what's going on your PC, right? So we're
Hmm.
seeing it today. What we're not seeing it in is in enterprise apps.
Right. I guess that's the timeline we're looking for. Is that a year away, 3 years away?
I think it's 3 years away probably before you get anything meaningful,
Uh-huh.
but we'll start to see people really tire kicking. I've had a lot of calls, a lot of inquiries about what do I do with watch style devices.
Hmm.
Is virtual reality something that makes sense, or glasses, wearable glasses, like what's that look like? So we're starting to see people talk about that. People have great interest in Win 10 right now, and how
Oh,
does that change the structure of their apps and services? Like, should
okay.
they be building in a Microsoft world? Nobody was talking about that a year ago, but
Right.
now it's like, wow, who knew, right? In a year, you could turn the ship that fast, right?
Yeah,
So
I want to make sure we do a quick tangent. The virtual reality piece is just so interesting. And it seems like 2016 is going to be a big year for that. Do you have a sense of how that piece fits in?
I think it's going to be a big year for gaming and consumer. I
Hmm.
mean, it's just about there, right?
Right.
And there's some fabulous stuff happening. I think we're miles and yards down for where that will be in an enterprise zone. And
Hmm.
actually, it only fits in certain places in an enterprise zone too. So, but people are definitely already trying to build prototypes of how you could use some type of glass or heads-up display or something to do field service, to do manufacturing, pick and pack, logistics and transportation style services. So it's starting to happen. That VR won't be widespread for all organizations, but I think we're going to see a great year for VR on the consumer landscape.
That's a lot of good stuff. Is there anything you wanted to say, a parting thought about enterprise mobility, things businesses should be thinking about as they look ahead?
I think the future is really bright. I think people are finally starting to do it. I think 2016 is all about building those contextual workflows where you're taking advantage of the device and in terms of using the location, using the camera, using the accelerometer, all those things that are there that are readily available to enhance business processes. So I'm looking forward to seeing what people create.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot for speaking with us today. I'll send you the link. We can all tweet about it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, James. Bye,
All right.
everybody.
Bye bye.